Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of the Magic Arena, and today we are doing FNM at home, and it's actually a very simple FNM this time. They're featuring the 4 Challenger decks. I feel like this could have been done last month when the Challenger decks were finally made available on sale. Actually, it could have been done even earlier when they announced the deck lists. I was already able to build the deck list and do a review on all 4 of the decks and even make some suggestions on how to adjust those deck lists. But here we have an event for those who want to try these out. So there are 4 specific challenger decks. We're gonna go through each and every one of them, and we're gonna play through each and every one of them. So first, the worst, at least in my opinion, this was the one I was not happy about. It's Azorius Control. It feels awfully weird in the sense because this is basically it actually feels like 2 decks smashed into one. So let's start with the enchantment synergy part. So we have Archon of Sun's. Oh, I can't move this around. So we have Archon of Sun's Grace, and actually that's about it for. Oh, wait, Archon of Sun's Grace and Thirst for Meaning. Those are our enchantment synergies. It takes advantage of the fact that we're running quite a few enchantments, notably for Omen, for Birth of Meletis, 2 copies of Banishing Light, 3 copies of Elspeth Conquers Death, and the Shark Typhoon. And we have the basic counter Azorius Control package, which would be Dream Trawlers and Emeria's Call at the top end, 2 Shatter Disguise and 1 Doomscar as our board wipes to supplement the Banishing Lights. As far as counter spells go, 3 Neutralizes, 1 Saw It Coming, 1 Negate, extra card draw from Behold the Multiverse. Basically, I feel like the deck is being pulled into multiple directions. It does look like it's well matched against the other challenger decks, but against a real meta, I would not exactly buy this one. At least not without making big changes. I probably would cut most of the enchantment package and go all in on the control package. There are so many cards I would add. I would make changes to here, but this would be the Zori's control deck. Then we have the Demir Rogues deck, everyone's favorite. But this is, if you also notice, no Yorion in the Zori's control deck, no Luros here, because they're not gonna give you companions here. They want to simplify the deck building process, and it's actually not too bad. I also should probably turn off notifications on Messenger for the time being, so priority only. That said, I mentioned this is the old version of the Mirror Rogues, so you can see our top end is Zaret Sand. The idea is mill our opponent until we hit until their good stuff goes in the yard, then hit them with the large Zaret Sand for some extra goodies. This is the one I feel. This is the one that I kind of enjoyed the most in actual play. It's probably the most comfortable in a sense. The cards I would have changed were the Vantress Gargoyles and the Nighthawk Scavengers. Oh yeah, note that we're doing best of 1 here, so no mention the sideboard. But if you buy these on paper, or you check the deck list, there is a 15 card sideboard, and a lot of cards I ended up changing out there as well. So there we go. Then next we have the 2 monocolor decks. So we have the two. Monocolor decks here. We have Mono Green Stompy, aka deck from. If you thought that the previous 2 decks were from an old meta, this one's from the old meta before the old meta. We haven't seen much of a Mono Green Stompy deck recently. It's still possible. I've seen a few decks run and they've done pretty well. It seems to run on the 1, 2, 3, 4 curve, so this is probably the easiest for anyone to get into if they're new. And I was actually pleasantly surprised when I ran this through standard events. This one actually went all the way to my surprise. So, but otherwise it's basically a 1, 2, 3, 4 deck. And this is the most familiar one, Mono Red Aggro. Okay, only 1 Embercleave. But then again, you can't just give everyone 4 Embercleaves. I probably might have cut the 2 Shatterskull Smashings for more Embercleaves in that sense, but also note that they're not exactly giving us the snow package, so this one is kind of like last year's Mono Red Aggro list. Some cards like the Kargan Intimidator kind of passe. The Royal Eruption's kind of like an emergency nod because the deck does have trouble cleaning out all the way if your opponent maintains control. You do need something to hit face, and this is how it does it. Actually, a lot of the valuable stuff here is in the sideboard, for at least for mono red, mono green, the mirror rogues. Actually, the 2 Into the Stories are in the sideboard. So the decks as is not exactly something I'm in. The decks as is could use some work, could use some rebalancing, but they are complete challenger decks until rotation hits at least. Anyway, we're gonna go one at a time. So as I said, first to worst, let's do Azorius Control. I'm gonna play through each of the 4 decks. We're gonna see how each one plays out, and you guys get to decide if these are interesting. I will post the deck list, the master page of the deck list in the video in the description below. I'll also post links to all of my reviews of each of the decks in the description below. So if you want to check out how to change it, how to adapt with it, how they actually play out, there you go. Though the one annoying part is that these challenger decks do not come with arena codes. Why, Wizards? Okay, but this is okay. Anyway, enough of that. This is a definite keep. We got the turn 2 Omen, turn 3 Banishing Light. Opponent's playing mono green Stompy, so we do have some control. Having a Shatter the Sky helps a lot. Shark Typhoon. Yeah, I guess we could cycle. Hitting multiple planes is not so great when you want to hit double island, but this is fine. And I actually want to see our opponent. Oh, opponent is going all out here. So we're gonna take quite a bit of damage. We want our opponent to play one of these. That's Omen of the Sea. Let's shatter the board. Okay, ECD is fine, but I don't want another planes at this point. I actually want islands now. Also nice that they gave us the M21 look. Okay. I can Banishing Light this to force our opponent to play the other one. Yeah, let's do that. So this one's a bit of a feel bad, but it's kind of like I want our opponent to commit even more resources to the board as much as possible. Also note that this mono green Stompy does not. Wildwood Tracker. Oh, they're going light. It's actually fine, though there are multiple Wildwood Trackers, so that's something I have to be concerned about. On the other hand, at least I'm not giving them a card. So I'll take that. So if our opponent plays this one out, I have to be careful of any future ones. I can cycle the Shark Typhoon if I have to. Our opponent seems to be stuck on mana at least. So that's some good news. And so we will have options here. I can cycle, make a 2/2 Swarm Shambler. We'll let that resolve. I'm actually going to just cycle, make a token. No need to save the one. Hold on. X2. Careful on the clicks. Get us a card. Thirst for Meaning. That should kind of draw us into Dream Trawler if possible. Oh, Glass Casket also works. Nice. So we will play this and ETB tap. And I'll actually have multiple choices between casting Thirst for Meaning to draw some cards. I kind of want to save this for a Dream Trawler because that's the big one. Ooh, Gem Razor. So he's gonna snipe this out, but at least it ET. You know what? That's fine. It also means that Elspeth Conquers Death gets rid of it, so we have a shot at that one. We are gonna take 5 though, so that's the sad part. Opponent goes. Well, it doesn't matter which one our opponent goes for. I will draw cards though. And no decline. We will discard these. We already have 6, so discard these 2. If we can hit the Doomscar, that's also fine. There's a Saw It coming. There are planes. Super reactive, so not my favorite. So nuke this one because this is the one that can actually attack. Yeah, kind of sad that our opponent already. Wow, opponent conceded. That was. There are a good number of 4 mana spells in the mono green decks. I do think that our opponent might have been a bit premature. They had they have a full play set of the Wildwood trackers, so they are not hurting for X1s. But that's our win, and we're gonna take that. So next up, Demir Rogues. Actually no. Actually no. We'll do the mono green Stompy. I'll do a quick recheck. Yeah, you got 3 Swarm Shamblers, 4 Wildwood trackers. You can Stonecoil Serpent for 1 if you really need that X1. So our opponent's Lovestruck Beasts were live, and also take note our opponent. Our opponent's not exactly full of. In fact, our opponent's full of 3 drops. In a sense, like they probably would have had if 3 mana was perfectly fine. I'm suspecting our opponent might have just had too much mana. It could be. It could also be like a hand of Snakeskin Veils and Ram Truce, so that might have been odd, I guess. But it did not make sense for our opponent to concede back there. That was very weird. Anyway, we'll do Demir Rogues next. So it is proving my suspicion that the challenger decks were tested against each other, but not exact. Well, then again, who was gonna predict our next meta? They could only predict so much, but so this one, I really do not like these Vantress Gargoyles. That said, we have removal. We have some interesting options here. I'm gonna just go for the early Temple of Deceit, and we'll see what goes next. So depending on our opponent's colors, definitely need more lands at this point. I don't want another. Like, I can just play the Vantress Gargoyle, just some. Oh, opponent's playing Azorius, so they're. So not attacking, we're just using this on defense. I would suspect our opponent. Oh, just Birth of Meletis. We're gonna play Rebirth and win. Oh wait, never mind. Play another Vantress Gargoyle. We'll start milling our opponent out later. We do need to hit that 4th land, but we have Malakir Rebirth if we have to. Opponent might have a negate. Okay, that was a dud hit. So they need 7 cards in the yard, so we're probably just gonna be attacking lightly. Actually, we'll swing. We'll activate. Let's see if we hit something. Nope. Nope. Okay, so no need. So we actually want the Merfolk Windrobber to just hit regularly. We don't need to flash in Desired Sun. If we have no good reason to flash it in, we're not gonna flash it in. At this point, we might just go for. Okay, let's see if our opponent discards something. Nope. This is not exactly the best matchup. Like, we can get a permanent, so the most we're getting is a Birth of Meletis, so not such a great hit. We also just opened ourselves up to. Okay, let's see which one our opponent. Perfect. I'm perfectly fine with them sniping the Vantress Gargoyle, because, well, actually we already hit 7 cards, so maybe not so much. So at this point, we're probably gonna just attack. So take note, we can get Birth of Meletis just to hit. Yeah, we might as well flash this in, because we need to start early beatdown. Our opponent has a bit of a life total edge at this point. We can actually use this to also supplement our mana issues, so there we go. Enters the battlefield. I can replay this, but now our opponent's at 6. No, we're not going to replay the Merfolk Windrobber. If any, I want to encourage our opponent to start using their removal like Banishing Lights or Elspeth Conquers Death. That's a good one. So 6 is still at 6. So now I feel safe playing the Wind Robber. This one can't attack. Can't block either now because we're down cards, but that's fine. I want to see what our opponent does. Now, the problem is if our opponent hits Dream Trawler, that's really bad. No, Skyclave Cleric, that's fine. Gain some life. We could just Heartless Act the thing. Just get... Also, because if our opponent's casting Skyclave Clerics, they don't really have anything better. They might have the negate, in which case the Heartless Act is gonna get it out of the way. It also adds 1 card to the yard, so it actually makes our Vantress Gargoyle alive, whether it counters it or not. Our opponent's Elspeth Conquers Death could get it back, but we actually want to get back the Elspeth Conquers Death. So let's activate Mill. Omen's actually good for us. Oh yeah, I didn't mention. So we got our opponent down quite a bit. Our opponent's probably super incentive, so we will take an Omen this time. So what are we looking for? Not the Black Bloom Rogue. The Soaring Taw Thief looks actually good. So we're just waiting for our opponent to drop the inevitable Wrath effect. We would lose our we do have another Zaret San if I'm not mistaken. Actually, even if we lose both of these is fine because we get to shift to the third part of our game plan. In fact, we can actually just use Malakir Rebirth to save it. Let's see how our opponent does it. Our opponent already played Emeria, and that's the only one they have. Elspeth Conquers Death. Ugh. So, goodbye Zaret San plan. So, we'll let that resolve. And we'll just play out Soaring Taw Thieves and do it the old-fashioned way. Also helps that we know that all their counter spells are 3 mana, except for the negate. So we should start them milling out. Okay, that's on counter. That's another counter, so that means they only have about negate and 2 other counters left. It also means one Behold the Multiverse and whatnot. So opponent is definitely forced to Wrath. We have Malik, so I'm gonna hold the Merfolk Wind Robber because opponent does. Ooh, it's bad news if you're cycling for 0. They're digging for that Wrath effect. I think did they discard 1? No, they did not. So they should still have 3 Wrath effects available. Dream Trawler. Okay, I'm actually gonna play this and start making our opponent discard cards. Basically, we need our opponent to start wipe. Yep, they'd be. Oh yeah, it will also tap it as well. Thank you for that Seasoned Hollow Blade tech. So we did very well with the Dimir Rogues plan here. So now that leaves us with 2 more decks to try out. Oh, getting gems. That should help pay off for the incoming anthology. So next up, Mono Green Stompy. This is the one I was most down with at the beginning. I already kind of showed you guys this, so I don't know why I'm showing it again. But we're going to submit this one, and we're going to go with this. Now, this one is super dependent on what you have on hand. You saw what our first opponent had. They stalled out really early. Despite having triple Lovestruck Beast, they stalled out way too early in my opinion. Anyway, so okay. Hello. So turn 2 is perfect. Now we'll definitely play the Wildwood Tracker first. We want to hold up Snakeskin Veil because there's 2 more of these in the sideboard in the actual deck, but this is probably the one most important card in this matchup. Vantress Gargoyles not gonna block us, so that's fine. And we hit the Scavenging Ooze, so we can mess our opponent at this rate too. Actually, no, our opponent can block us. They can't attack us. That's the difference. So no attacks now. We have to be careful with this one. Opponents holding up 2 mana. They will pass. That's kind of a given. And ooh. This deck does not have any real counter spells, so though but I did goof up. I was supposed to play this first because they could have eliminated. Oh, they let it resolve. Yeah, I still goofed up though. Mills a card. Now to correct that mistake, we're going to pay 3 life, hold up the Snakeskin Veil, swing with everything. Though I probably should not have swung with this one. Our opponent could play a Soaring Tooth Thief. Yep. You know what? That's fine. I could play Snakeskin Veil just to keep it alive, but it's okay. We have a backup, sort of. But yeah, that was supposed to be held back. In fact, so opponent probably starts swinging with this. We should be on the lookout for Thieves Guild and Rankle. Okay, so you know what? We're might as well. So we're gonna each discard a card, and because we're worried about Rankle, I have to discard the Lovestruck Beast, unfortunately. And we're sacrificing this. So I'll play the Lovestruck Beast first. So we're gonna hold this back. Let's force our opponent to play removal, or Nighthawk Scavenger is actually good. Let's see if our opponent remembers that. Oh, they're just vomiting the board. Let's check if they remember that. Oh, they remembered that Gem Razor has reach. Quack quack. Oh hey, Swarm Shambler. So we're gonna swing the Lovestruck Beast and get it killed with the Nighthawk Scavenge. If it's the Vantress Gargoyle, we get an advantage. Okay, fine. Nighthawk it is. So now we're actually in trouble here because our opponent managed to stall out. This is probably where although this one can't block, the Scavengers can though. Merfolk Wind Robber, so we're kind of on a standstill right now. We have to wait for this one to swing before we can swing, but we need to have more effects at this point. At least our opponent's kind of empty, and no one's really benefiting. Not even the Vantress Gargoyle. This can't block. This still can't. Well, it will be able to attack if it taps to mill. So I'm actually gonna play the Trashing Brontodon. So I'm actually gonna allow the Nighthawk Scavenger to keep hitting us in the face, so it's a bit sad. That was a good mill for us. They did not drop yet another Death Touch creature. Opponent's actually holding. Probably should have remembered to tap this down, but you know what? Let's see how our opponent blocks this. I'm happy if... Oh, they're gonna actually take? Fine, take it. That might be our plan right now. We might actually just have to keep swinging with the poor Brontodon. While our opponent continues to mill us... Opponent sacking to draw a card. Usually not a good sign if you're sacking right now, but... Well, opponent can definitely attack with this one. We're probably not gonna block, which is a concern, because we have good stuff here that our opponent can get. Like, they can get our Lovestruck Beast. It will tank our attacks. The fact that our opponent is holding is actually very good for us. It means they have nothing. So, again, you're going to keep swinging with the Brontodon. We want to clear our opponent's board as much as possible. We're going to have the bigger board eventually. Okay. So far, not hitting much for the Scavenger. It's not going to get any bigger. Though I would note that our opponent actually has another one available if it gets to that. Opponent going for it. But more importantly, they gave up their Rankle in the process. So we're actually gonna... Oh, it actually becomes a 5/5. I could actually block Vantress Gargoyle. I forgot all about this. Valkyrie Rebirth. You know what? That's fine. That actually dings them for 2. It also means their board is kind of tapped. Well, gets it back. So they could actually get something back from us. You know what? That's fine. Yeah, we're not. We've read that ship has sailed, so we're not blocking. So let's see what they get back. Actually, we can swing with everything. Cause they don't have a. Yeah, it returns to the battlefield, but it returns tap. They will get a Lovestruck Beast, but that's one blocker. They might have a Thieves Guild Enforce. Oh, nope, they don't have it. So I might as well play this now since the game is over. So let's see, our opponent blocks this. They die to this. So, yeah, they went for the one big attack. They got impatient, but patience is a virtue, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, so that's actually 3 out of the 4 decks. We're doing very well, all things considered. Kinda, I guess the experience of actually playing through these decks before really helps now. So now we're gonna go through the mono red aggro deck. I'm going to mention the one, like, I kind of agree with everything. The only thing that's not agreeable now, well, the lack of mythics. Like, we miss Robber of the Rich, we miss more Ember Cleaves. That's a bit sad. Akum Hellhound, that's also kind of sad. There are Kaldheim cards, so... Oh, wait, no. Hall Monitor is Strixhaven, so that's... No, but we could have had Fireblade Champion. That would have been perfectly fine. Because Akum Hellhound's probably the one... It's probably the one card that makes me scratch my head, as in, why is it there? At least some of the other choices kind of make sense, like the Wildwood Tracker. I kind of poo-pooed on that one. But it does function as an extra 1/1 for for your Love-Struck Beasts. Considering you're running 4 of them, that really it does help a lot. So Intimidator Intimidator to Anax is probably a good opening start, but our opponent's in mono green, so we are in real trouble here. They will have an earlier start. But we do have our 4 mana, so it's probably Intimidator, Anax, Torbrand. That's gonna be our sequence. Oh! Tracker, so we take 1. Now, if Wildwood Tracker attacks, it is a 2/2. I'm gonna just play the Kargan Intimidator. It's capable of blocking either, and I won't feel too bad about it. Actually, I'll take it back. I probably would feel really bad about it. Also, because the pump effects are kind of negligible here. It's Primal Might. Like, I think taking 2 right now is fine. Kazandu Mammoth. Okay. So we have 2 options here. I can play Anax, or I can play Kargan Intimidator and hold up the shock. Yeah, being on the defensive is not a great fit. I'm actually just willing to take damage right now, which doesn't feel great. Gem Razor. No. I'm not giving our opponent a 5. Ooh! We gave our opponent a 6/6. And a 1/1. We can double block this, but it feels really bad. Yeah, so we goofed up on that play. So we don't have a choice though. We have to take this out. We're taking what, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 damage? Oof. Big oof. So Anax for nope, cancel. Anax Fervent Champion. Hold back. Unfortunately, we're probably throwing the Fervent we cannot take 5, so the Fervent Champion goes under the bus. But we get to eat the Wildwood Tracker. And get a free 1/1. Opponent seems to be... Oh, does he have a Stonecoil Serpent? X equals 5? Yeah, and we're flooding right now. So, I can attack with this one, it does nothing, so we'll hold it back. Opponent's... Like, I'm forced to block with both of them. There's no way about it. It's a question of which one do I want to worry about. Probably this one because the trample is an issue. We got ourselves another Anax. Now, if... Yep, opponent's hitting the lands when they want it, and not when we... And we're hitting lands when we don't want it. A Royal Eruption would be nice, except we can't even block this one if we do get that. Wait, hold on. Let's not cast the backside. This is my only hope. So the one mythic I said that we could have done without saved the day. For the time being, at least it saves us this turn. We survive another turn, but we might not get it afterwards. Like, our opponent just drops 1 creep. No. Now, unfortunately, if our opponent has, okay, it did not have the, flash creature, and is kind of throwing, and they concede. Okay, so we managed to survive at the very end there, and that's a clean sweep, guys. We survived the Challenger Dex challenge. We could have ended 2 2 matches earlier, but I wanted to show all of them off. We actually kind of had the win there. I have no idea what our opponent had in their hand. Probably Snakeskin Veil and or Primal Might when we finally wiped them out of creatures. So we survived long enough, and we did relatively well. So that's it for this very quick episode of Magic Arena Run. If you like what you saw, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Turn on notifications and whatnot. Do check out how my review of all the Forge Challenger decks. I talked about them in detail. Actually, the prof also talked about them in detail, but there is some room to go about it, at least for the next few months. Yeah, I really wish they came out a lot earlier, considering the pedigree of most of these cards. But these are what we have here, and they're quite enjoyable. Again, thank you very much for watching. I hope to see you guys again next time. Take care. God bless. Stay safe wherever you are. Have a great weekend, everyone. Oh, and also do stay tuned for College Cup. A video will be up on this one shortly. I hope to see you there. Thank you very much.